on, everybody? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super manga chapter. We are going to be reviewing the last 3 chapters. Anyway, so this chapter starts off right away where we are on Yardrat, and I think we've been wanting this from the other chapter, like just moving on from there. But either way, it starts this one very unique where it goes directly to Yardrat, and they're already landed and everything. People are being greeted by him. And they're wondering, oh, he's this Vegeta guy, but they accidentally went to the patrol guy and thought he was Vegeta for some reason, which I thought was kind of funny. Anyways, they go and talk to the Elder, and Vegeta is wondering how he can learn about teleportation. The Elder tells him that he can't learn that move specifically unless he learns about spirit control, which is technically Ki. He's got to learn how to master his Ki a little bit better if he wants to find a unique style type, I guess you could say, for a new attack or something like that. So that's going to be really interesting to see where he goes from there. After the whole spiritual Ki thing, we go to Kami's lookout where we see Piccolo trying to use telepathy and literally try to contact Namek. But unfortunately, he can't contact anyone on New Namek for some reason. And Dende is like, well, we are technically far away from the original Namek now, because New Namek is, I guess, a little bit farther than it was before, so maybe that's why we can't pick it up for some reason. But he also thinks that something could have happened because he can't pick up anybody who knows how to use telepathy on New Namek, so there could be a case happening. After that, they notice that a ship, which also had very low Ki to their energy, literally started coming down to Earth for some reason. So Piccolo goes and figures out what is going on, so he waits for them to actually land. And right off the bat, the Macaroni gang was like, hey, there's a dude there, how about we just shoot at him? Because it sounds like a smart idea to shoot someone before landing. Yes, even Piccolo says in the later chapter that is the rudest thing that he's ever seen in his life. Shooting before even greeting. Anyways, of course, they land thinking that they killed Piccolo and all that stuff. And, of course, he was on top the whole time, huh? What a coincidence, right? Yeah. Who would have thought that Piccolo would actually die from bullets? Anyways, of course, they try fighting him real quick, and he just destroys them like it's nothing. I like how the girl had the same technique as Piccolo, where her arm stretches out, and he's just like, I'm used to that by now, so how about I try on you instead? Which it did. So, anyways, he ties them up, and he's trying to ask questions, figure out if they're part of this little gang, of course. And they lied to him, going, we're just passing by because we're just some kind of little gang of ours who wants to just get by and explore the galaxy, I guess you could say. So anyways, Piccolo says, fine, whatever, get the frick out. I don't give a shit about you people anyways. I can kill you on the spot. That's pretty much what he's pretty much telling them. So anyways, they take off. Jack and them show up, and they're like, hey, by the way, that's a bad guy. Shoot them down now. We need to stop them before they get back to Moro's base. So Piccolo shoots them down, and after that, then they say, hey, we did a transmission already to the main ship, so guess what? You're all screwed. So anyways, after that, then we go to Moro's spaceship, where they got a transmission from them saying, hey, help us, and they get cut off, of course. So Moro's like, we're going to send a little bit of a tougher group to that planet to see if they're actually worth something. If they're not, then who gives a shit? If they do beat my next squad, though, that planet's mine. So right after that, you see Mirrors and Goku fighting out in front of a pyramid for some reason. Not really quite sure why that is a chosen place, but they chose it there for a second. So anyways, they're fighting there and all that stuff, and then Goku's like, oh man, you know, my emotions are getting to me. How can I use this technique I wanted to, but I have to figure a way of not using my emotions somehow. So Mirrors explains to him saying, hey, how about you use that similar technique like you did with Super Saiyan, but do the opposite of Super Saiyan, and you should get Ultra Instinct. Mirrors apologizes for saying I apologize for not saying anything about it, but I just didn't want to, you know, speak about it to everybody out there. So after that little conversation, Goku gets hyped and he's like, let's do this. I want to try to get this move as best as I can right now. So Mirror says, okay, I think I can trust you. Let's go inside the pyramid. They go inside and it's pretty much the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, but on a different planet. So Mirrors explains, saying that it's not your typical normal hyperbolic time chamber. This is a time chamber where it takes 1 full day, but it takes it for 3 days. So it's 3 days in the chamber for 24 hours in normal time. Which Goku was like, okay, well, you know, we have a better chamber, you know, technically, you know, on Earth, but I guess we'll do whatever's here, I guess. So chapter 53 starts, and anyways, it starts where Krillin actually is there this time, and, you know, Bulma and everyone's talking about pretty much how, you know, the recruitment's gonna go, and how people are gonna go and stuff like that. So Jocko shows up afterwards, and he starts complaining how about not everyone's there yet. And he's like, oh, well, you know, we have to, you know, get everybody before everything happens and stuff like that. So, anyways, he goes and talks to the Macaroni Gang, and they mention to him about Singing Boy's henchman. So he freaks out right at that point, saying, why didn't you tell me this sooner? Now I gotta see what's happening and all that stuff. Krillin starts asking about who these guys are, why, you know, what are they like? Are they tough? Stuff like that. So he talks to him, of course, about the other guys, but mostly about 7-3. So this guy is an android, was pretty much made at this point, like from some scientific planet, and he's just a killer. He's literally just a guy that's cold-blooded and kills people. So, but at the same time, Jaguar did say, don't get your neck grabbed because he will steal your powers, which they do show that actually happening because they were on a planet and he steals one of the guys that he was fighting, or technically, I guess, the guy that was on the ground that he beat up, steals his powers, and he shoots, like, spikes back at the other people of the planet. Anyways, kills them, and finds that there's this guy that has a portal he can actually open. So, steals his powers, of course, and BAM! They show up to Earth! Oh boy, even though Krillin was like, oh boy, 10 days, that's not bad, we can train for that. Well, I guess those 10 days went really quickly, I guess. Then this little cue ball guy of the henchman literally tries to kill the Macaroni Gang because of their betrayal, and Piccolo stops him, of course, which 7-3 notices that this guy is actually pretty strong. So how about I steal his powers? So he automatically shows up, grabs his powers by the neck, and he officially is now Piccolo. So anyways, they're underneath Kami's lookout, fighting, of course, on the ground, and Jaguar's just trying to say, hold them out or wherever if you can. By the way, this guy doesn't lose stamina, just throwing that out to you. Which Piccolo kind of had a plan to try to do that, but I think that would have been nice, of course, to let him know. So Piccolo couldn't hold out much longer, and of course, who shows up to save the day? It is Gohan! Yes, he comes along and takes Piccolo to the side, and he's like, I will be the next challenger, of course. Now, after Gohan saves Piccolo, of course, we go straight to the next area, which is where Goku and Mirrors are fighting, of course. Had a little fighting scene, of course, where he literally was like, I don't think I can get Ultra Instinct. How am I able to try? And Mirrors, of course, said, you probably did it by almost death. You had very, like, you would push yourself so hard to the point where you were at life or death situation. And Goku says, yes, that's probably what happened. So Mirror says, we gotta do that again. So let's do it, I guess. But even though Goku is going to his death, of course, in that battle, we go over to Vegeta to see how he's doing, of course, because why not end the chapter that way, right? Figure out how Vegeta's doing. So apparently he's going to be stuck on this little stick to figure out how to control his ki a lot better. And it might take over 150 days because he is not like Goku on maintaining his balance. But anyways, of course, that is the second chapter. Of course, we got one more in stock for you to talk about right here again. So let's get cracking to it, shall we? And the final chapter, which starts off as Gohan literally goes straight at it to fight this 7-3 dude, literally dodging, literally taking him out one way or another. And all of a sudden, 7-3 is like, okay, let's take this next level, I guess. So he grows really big, gigantic, and he thinks that with that kind of power, or I guess height, he can literally take out Gohan. But unfortunately, Gohan knows how to take care of Piccolo's techniques, because he even tells him that I'm the one that knows you too well to go again. And one of the guys tells him, get his neck, which doesn't work out for him at all. So the only plan he had to do was the last technique he had on him, which was Moro. He uses his attack to try to absorb all the energy from the fighters, so then that way they can literally take out and literally kill them, of course, on the planet. So then that way it takes care of the trouble of having them around, of course, when Moro shows up. So why not that be the case? But unfortunately, one of them speaks out and says that Goku and Vegeta are training right now to literally take care of Moro once they're done training. So Moro takes that effect because he actually was listening to the conversation, of course. Well, I guess you could say they were monitoring it, of course, by live feed. And he literally accepts that challenge. So he wants them to grow stronger, of course, because then that way, that's more energy he can absorb from them than at their current state right now. So he tells them to take their crew off of planet Earth and come back. So of course 7-3 opens a portal and they go right through. But right before they go through, they mention that they will be back within 2 months. So anyways, apparently Mirrors knows all this information and tells Goku that, saying they'll be back in 2 months to Earth, but your friends are safe at least. So be happy for that. So Goku says, well, that technically means we have 6 months altogether to literally train here, and I definitely know it's going to be a lot better than it is just for training for 3 days. But even though they go back to a sparring thing, we do see Whis show up in this chapter, which is intriguing because you would never really expect this part to be happening, but we all were thinking something about this Mirrors guy, which they conclude that he's an angel. Yes, it talks to the Grand Priest himself and says, we have an issue with the angel law. I'm not worried about my universe being destroyed and all, which you kind of think it would because you want to keep it nice and safe, your universe, but you don't care either way. But okay, good enough. But he does care about one thing, which is the law for the angels, and now we have to deal with Mirrors, of course. So we don't know what's going to happen. Is the Grand Priest going to go after Mirrors, or even Whis going to go after Mirrors and take him out of the picture? We don't know for a fact what's going to happen with that. So that's going to be very intriguing to see where this takes. The next chapter, actually, recording this, is actually the day before the next chapter. So this is really cool. So I can't wait for it personally for it to come out. I can't wait for that. And hopefully you guys can't wait either. Because trust me, this is very fascinating, the chapters that are coming out right now. We're getting more into the conclusion of this saga, which definitely makes it more interesting to literally see how this goes, of course. So hopefully you guys can stick around and hear the rest of the review whenever the rest comes out, of course. And other than that, I will see you, of course, in the next videos. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day.